nostalgia is being ruined by greed.
Ooh, okay, this is an interesting one. I kind of heard this, passed around in the scene a while back, and I thought it'd be an interesting one to talk about. And Mikey kind of almost brought it up accidentally when you were talking about Pops. And what I mean by this, and I've noticed this, is Nintendo is by far and large my favorite brand, by far and large in the video game scene. I will. Oh no, that's over. It's a different topic. Mikey's putting up agree or disagree still. But as much as I love Nintendo and I buy all their products, sometimes you have to sit back and pull back the reins and go. Me and Ben last night were literally saying if they dropped new Nintendo cartridges, the same games, and said they work on your original NES, Super Mario Bros. 3 is getting re-released as a cartridge, everybody in the world would go buy it, right? Same with the mini consoles. Same with the re-releases of the same games. Same with them putting the Nintendo games on the Switch online over and over and over and over and over. Does it at some point, as much as you bind it, it's going to be hard in this room because we're all kind of Nintendo fanboys. Like, at what level does it feel like, okay, this is just greedy and we're buying into that system of greed? Or do you think Nintendo, I doubt it, even though I love them, has the intention of like, no, it's strictly for nostalgia, but we know it's a money thing?
Let's see.
I need to kind of digest.
Let it roast.
Yeah.
Yo, it kind of hits the soul, the core.
Because you kind of brought it up with Funko. You said that they are kind of doing too much, right? Everybody's going to want this.
Yeah, I think like once something is easy to attain, then people are like, I kind of don't want it. I kind of don't want it now because I know I could buy it later on since they made like so many of it. So I think like the nostalgia, like it has to be like something that's nostalgic, but it's still hard to get. Cause like if like let's say with the Pops, like if there's a Pop that's an older Pop, right? Like 2012. And like people are like, oh man, like that Pop is so cool. Like it's hard to get now, you know. I really want it, but like if they re-release it and they make like another 10,000 and it's easy to get, then some people are like, it's not that special anymore because everyone has it now. So I think like the nostalgia, like people collect it because like they think about the past, but it also they like that it's rare. Because like the only reason it's rare is because it's old and it's harder to get now. You know, like in.
What about the
like
stuff? What about the stuff that's not rare? Right, like it's just right now. Nintendo announces tomorrow. By the way, we're doing another re-release of the original Mario Bros. On NES.
I think a lot of people would get mad, like the people that like let's say like they bought the game for like $60 and they're like, oh, like we're gonna re-release it, but it's gonna be $25 or $30. Like people are gonna be like, oh man, like I thought I had something special.
I think there's also just as big of a crowd of people who are gonna keep buying it. As much I know,
the people that don't have it yet, but like let's say like would you rather have the old one or do you want like the re-release of it?
I'm not gonna lie, if Nintendo came out with like a mini classic of an N64, but they came out with a smaller cartridge, almost like a mini one of it, I would be stoked.
So just another mini?
Yeah, just a mini, but I want the cartridge. I don't want this downloadable emulator. I want to like have it.
Oh, got it.
To have that kind of that re-experience.
Yeah, but that buys into the argument.
I know, but I would buy into it. That's what I'm saying.
Right, because I even said that I teared up when they announced Mario RPG. Well, this one's going to be, I guess, a HD remake, so it's different.
But that's like a different product, I feel like.
I feel like
because it's like a smaller like version of it, so it's not the same one.
But I'm saying it's the same thing as your Pops, right? Yeah. They're just gonna be like, oh, let's make the same Pops, but make them tiny, right? So imagine, right? Imagine just an N64 and just make smaller cartridges, or they do the GameCube, smaller CDs.
I would buy that too.
I would like to just kind of do it.
Chris is ready. I can see.
He thought about it.
His mouth started to move a little bit.
When we had initially had that, as a topic, I had interpreted it differently. So I wasn't looking at it as like Nintendo being greedy.
It's not Nintendo.
No, that was just
nostalgia
something.
Baiting.
Yeah. It could be the TMNT figures. It could be the Pops. It could be Nintendo. It could be PlayStation.
Because honestly, like with Nintendo, the way you describe it, like I honestly wish they would do more of that. I'm like, So
you're all for it then?
Yeah, like I've wanted them to I have wanted them for forever to make like a Zelda 3 on the NES or something like that.
Yeah.
Like re-release, like people would buy that stuff, and I've never understood why they actually don't do that.
Yeah.
Like they're so far removed from it now. I'm like, don't you remember you like made the Nintendo on the NES? There's still a huge fan base for it, and so I've always wished they would do more of it. So
really,
So. Maybe not a re-release, but like new stuff would be.
I'm not talking new though. I'm talking
like just
re-release for nostalgia.
Just re-release over.
Hey,
and over
we
and over
know
again.
all of these. I mean, I'm sure there is. They're all real humans. I'm sure there's someone at Nintendo who's literally or PlayStation. Saying, hey, we know these buffoons will buy this if we put a new skin on it again.
But I mean, like, what's the difference? I'm like, people buy the Master
Here's
Chief.
what you think.
I think in a way they do. Like you got to think about it. Like back in the day, like they made a lot of money on Nintendo, Super Nintendo. what did they do just a couple of years back? What'd they make?
The mini?
The minis.
Minis, yeah.
And those things were selling out so fast.
Oh, that's true.
Scalpers, man.
So it's like you also have to think about it. So the scalpers were making it worse, obviously, but I think like, yeah, obviously there's a little money on there, but in a way, I don't think they made enough of them either.
I don't think. I mean, obviously, video games are the only ones guilty. It goes back to movies, right? You remember
Yeah.
as a kid, you'd see whatever it is, The Little Mermaid, and then it'd come out on DVD, then DVD HD, and then DVD VHS this, and then this with
It's
this,
repackaged.
this with another ending. And now if you watch this thing, it has these special edition things.
Yeah.
Yes, Curtis?
I got a ding, ding, ding for a little bit sponsor time for
Oh.
PriceCharting.com.
I
Hey-o.
was
All
getting
right.
ready to get heated, and I'm going to throw a bomb down as soon as this is over with. I'm about to fight with somebody.
Yeah.
We're sponsored by PriceCharting.com. Awesome service. They're wonderful to us. They're a wonderful site. Almost doesn't even feel like a sponsor. What's one of the new features they wanted us to talk about?
They have a new mobile app that will be coming out soon. Like if you've ever used video game price charts, they have their website, of course. And then what I do is I put like a link to, that website on my
That is
phone.
huge.
But now they'll actually have an app.
And
Do you know
words
when it
that
might be
released.
coming out? Like, is it going to be
I
coming
think
out?
they said end of August.
End
Which
of August.
by the time this probably goes out is probably
Probably
here.
Yeah.
And
Which I'm excited for.
That's
because-
I think in the words of Donald Trump, that is huge. That is a
Huge.
big deal because it's an app,
Huge.
right? It's the easiest way to
Easier
do this
to
because for
use.
years we've gone to pricecharting.com, videogamepricecharts.com back in the day and searched it that way. But I think with this is the app, it's going to be the go-to, especially with what we said in the last one, categories, different things. I think it's going to replace. There's a lot you can do.
Like some features. Like,
There's
Probably
a
new stuff,
ton of things that you can do at Phoenix Resale, the king of reselling, dare I say. Maybe Chase was talking all about it, all hyped on it. So yeah,
he has the
Rad.
title, the king of reseller.
Not for long. We're coming up on like what 10K sales and whatnot in the year.
Oh yeah.
So are you the prince?
Hey, 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 hey,
Yo,
hey.
get him.
The queen said, hey, that was worse.
What'd you call me? Yeah, no, yeah, okay. So yeah, pricecharting.com. Check them out. Honestly, thank them so much for all of this and for sponsoring us. Curtis wants to jump in. Yes.
Yeah, I have another question, like kind of based on this topic. If we're going to still be on the same question.
Absolutely.
All right.
I'm kind of angry right now.
No, yeah, no.
The more I
I mean,
think
like,
about it, the more I'm getting a little mad.
I think one of my questions is like a big toy line where they come out with like TMNT, Masters of the Universe, like they just redo the toy.
Yeah.
What does that take away the value from the vintage stuff?
It just, I mean, I get it, right? We're in that age, right? We're in a right now where we're at, they take your childhood things and they're just finding, hey, everybody who was a 7-year-old in the, whatever it is, in the 80s, now is an adult who has money and who can buy these things. And at some point, I love these things, but at some point, I start to roll my eyes at some of them, right? When I go to the swap meet and I see 17 different He-Mans, and I'll even say they trick you now. They'll trick you. I've bought TMNT figures quick at swap meets, thinking they were the original lines, realizing after they're not. They look almost, some of them will say like retro inspired or retro, but some of them like almost don't say anything to the glance, right? And I feel like obviously they're not, well, maybe they're not trying to trick people. I don't know. But at some point when I go over and I see He-Man this, He-Man that, for 2014, 2016, 2017, 2019, I'm like, man, at what point does this lose its special feeling of being like, this is He-Man?
Do you accept that at your store, Chris? Like some of those
Garbageage?
The like new like retro replays and all that stuff.
Yeah.
I try to stay away from that stuff. We try to stick to the originals. But they are like even the He-Man figures are very much like a lot of those toys are just rebranded exactly. I mean, I guess I don't know. From a business standpoint, like if those companies are looking to try to make money, it sounds like basically like should they. Well, I guess I would say if they're a business and they're redoing that,
Well, of course, they're
they're
doing it for money.
They're just looking for money,
Yes.
and if they know they can do it, if I was that business, would I do it? Probably.
What's so hard is I
Probably
get
would.
so mad about it, and I know I'm the first person to go buy all this stuff.
Yeah.
And that's what is frustrating because it is nostalgia baiting, right? I mean, I could find, and I'm very easy to sell. Like I am very easy to sell. I just was on my run earlier, and I was listening to a review about Chipmunk Adventure, and he started talking about it. And within 10 seconds, when I stopped at a light, I literally went eBay and bought it. Like that. I was like, oh, I got to buy it. Nostalgia.
Got him.
I heard a song, and I was like, that's it.
Dude.
Now,
same thing
It was
with-
his listing too.
What
Yeah.
about with like movies though? Like the new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie that came out.
Super
It's like-
fire.
It's
Super
awesome. I loved it. I saw your like.
I'm
I
so
went and watched
excited.
it. See,
You're a big
hyped
fan of
me up.
Mikey. He keeps saying he doesn't
I know.
watch his
Dude,
Mikey stuff.
Feeds just keep popping
Dude, he doesn't even
I'm sorry, bro.
He doesn't even watch Pixel
I
Game
know.
Squad.
I'm sorry, bro.
Okay, so what about that?
But like it was like they started from the hole, the ooze goes into the sewer. I mean, it was a true rehash. Obviously it's redone in a different art style, which was amazing.
So was it a retelling of one that's already been told, or was it completely new?
I think it's kind of like a
more or less.
It's kind of the same, but like they definitely changed up like the origins. Like not
But
the
that's
exact
not good.
origins. No. See, but like the thing is, it feels like that was the way it was supposed to be because like the voices are actually teenagers. And it makes a big difference, right?
It was the
like,
first time, honestly, I was like, wow, the turtles are actually teenagers. And then we were talking
And it
about the
felt good.
original
It felt
turtles,
good.
and I
Are
was
you
like,
guys trying to?
Yes,
take
it's better
away
than
the-
any other older stuff. I
Whoa.
promise you. I
Alright,
will
this
die on that
side
hill.
topic, but how old the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and the first Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles seemed like they were like 30 years
Older,
old.
yes, exactly.
They were not teenagers.
All my
Once you-
TMNT fans out there who just felt the
Like-
disrespect of the original movie,
That was
I
disrespectful.
apologize to all of you guys. We are actual retro channel, just so you guys know.
Hey.
I apologize. on
You're
their
gonna
behalf.
feel that way at first, right? It's gonna hurt.
Yeah.
Like, you're gonna be like, I
It's
can't
good.
believe he's saying that I hate him.
But it is a straight
That's like saying
rebranding.
someone who has 40 years to remake a Beatles song and makes it better says it's better. The Beatles laid the groundwork and made it.
But
what
if
it
it's
was.
better, are you gonna say it's better?
No.
What if
You're just gonna
was,
lie?
What if it was the kid,
No,
the
I've actually-
sons of the Beatles formed a group and they were better than the
They were pretty
original
decent.
Beatles?
I listened to Julian and Sean.
They already did that.
I checked.
No, because I've actually used this in music before. I think I even might have mentioned it. No, not on the show. I didn't. But I've used that before as an example. Not saying that it can't. Of course, it can technically be better, right? It can. But I'm saying it's like when you take something that was already there and then it goes away 40 years. Of course, you can make it better. There's always, right? But I don't think those people have the same. Let's be honest. Seth Rogen doesn't have the brain capacity of the same people like Eastman and them who made this, who created it from ground. This is the characters, how they move, this talk, this, that, every bit of thing. And the new person gets to come along and reshift things around and make it a little bit better. And then it's, I agree. I've heard everybody say it's good. Everybody's seen it, said it's good.
I get the argument, because it is annoying when they change up something that you love and you're like, man, this is not the exact same story that I remember watching. But once you watch it and you're enjoying yourself, you're cracking
No,
up.
I'm not talking about the story at all. I don't.
Or like the characters, whatever it is.
No,
you know,
not
like-
even characters. I'm talking about the ground, saying that it is better, like a music. Like I don't think anybody in the world could redo a Beatles song where I'd be like, that's better than the original.
So do you
because the
think-
original laid the groundwork for them
But
to just
there's
reshift.
like so many versions of like the Ninja Turtles too that it's kind of hard. Like
No, I
to
get that.
Pick which one too.
And if I understand correctly, would you prefer that like the original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is left the way it is?
No.
And then nobody should touch it
No,
afterwards? No. Okay.
I like more, but I will never say it's better than the
Never say it's
original
better than-
material, right? Imagine I go to an art museum, beautiful sculpture right there, but the clay's still wet. And then the nose looks a little funny. I go, hold on, make that's better.
It's called
but
vandalism.
still, I'm not better. I'm still not better than the guy who originally created it, in my mind. In my mind.
And you also destroyed art, so like you don't want to do that.
You said they destroyed. You heard it first. You said they destroyed the TMNT movie. They destroyed.
You physically did it though. In that story,
You said, I got him.
you were like, I went to an art museum and I went to go destroy art. Like,
I think the one thing that hurts me the most is like when they like mass produce Pokemon, like new stuff for it. I'm like,
How many Pokemon do they have?
dude,
Too
it's
many.
like 18th generation. I don't know what
There-
it's on, Ran, but it's like,
I want to say 10,000. I might be wrong, but
Man, I
it might
love-
be around
I
1,000
love the
plus.
first two
Seriously?
gens.
There's
man.
no
The
way.
1,000 plus for
gen
sure.
was so good.
First gen and second gen were like the only ones I really, really like love the most. Like I want to get back into it, but then it's like, what is what is produced from 1995 to now?
But have you seen the 12th gen?
Dude, I don't
Because I haven't. No, I haven't.
Dude, they're all like
Zord.
they're basically all just crossover Dragon Ball Z characters now.
They're like humans now. They're
Yo.
like breeding with humans now.
How many
You know
different
that?
Power Rangers do we have now? Hasn't there been like
Oh yeah,
17, 20 something, 21 maybe? I might be completely off. I
There's
think
like
I watched
crossovers now too with like
Bro, they
like
crossed
the
over with
TMNT.
TMNT back in the day.
And they look so cool.
That was a cool one,
I like them.
but the original was better.